Jake's Wealth. You're going to take victories and you're going to take losses, whether that's in your personal life or your materialistic life. You're going to have to succumb to what has happened, what has occurred, the events that have unfolded. You're going to have to learn. You're going to have to implement steps and patience with discipline combined to know what steps must be taken in the future in order to avoid a catastrophic disaster like what has occurred previously. Now we must flip the switch and go on the other side. Send positive energy towards the thing that you're trying to accomplish, whether that is buying a new car, whether that is buying a boat, whether that is making someone a better person. At the end of the day, it all comes down to you and making that decision to step up to the plate, swing the bat a different way this time, and do things differently so you can get a different outcome. People talk about the other side of things as you need to just keep doing things the way they are, even if you're not getting good results, and maybe it will change. That's not a definition that I'm a part of. That's the definition of just doing things the same way to get the same results. You're going to continue to see those outcomes happen over and over again mentally. Take a step back and think, what is it that I have to accomplish next? Where do I want to be? If that's on the beach and you want to accomplish being a peaceful person, maybe quiet your mind. Stop being so vocal about it and just be a peaceful person. There's nothing more to it. No matter what you say, if you're going to be a peaceful person, it's not going to drive you towards the end goal unless you're practicing the correct steps, implementing serious peacefulness, and just being a very neutral person, not having an opinion about what other people say just because they have an opinion and you think your opinion can't be right. If you have an opinion about something, you want to be on the right side to be correct. A lot of things, about 50% of things that go through your mind, you're going to be wrong about. That's just the nature of how science works. Because, you have 1,000 opinions on one thing. Somebody else has 1,000 opinions on one thing. Or on 1,000 things, they have one opinion. The other way around works just as well, just fine. You're going to have a lot of challenges to face so you guys can come to an agreement. Practically in science, 50% of the time. So, tying this all back to the financial market, you're going to be wrong 50% of more times than not if you're average. Because if you're a 51% right in making investments into a business that you think is flourishing, you must know that it could go the other way. You could be wrong, and if you're right 51% of the time, then it means that's just what you need to do all of the time. It's the best opportunity out there to help others because you can give back to the world. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say that spending money doesn't make people happy. Last time I went to the mall and found people who go shopping for what they need and things that bring them enjoyment materialistic wise, I'm in the argument that there is, to a certain degree, money doesn't make people happy, but spending it on the right things, on the right experiences do, because that's what you enjoy doing. And the world moves as a matter of trade and exchanges. This goes back to the olden days. You would trade something, I don't know, you would trade an animal for a sack of potatoes. Something like that is a great example. And that has just evolved into becoming what we know it is now. And it's just like, I'll give you some of this company if you give me some of that company. Now my portfolio looks better because I think this company is becoming better. Next thing you know, everybody is on board with you, and you're the first to get there because you were the initial investor to get the ball rolling. To keep things in a constant state of momentum, it's going to require discipline, and you're going to need the right opinions. You can't simply go through life thinking this is a fact, this is a fact. The only fact I know at the end of the day, the sun's going to rise tomorrow. And if it doesn't, that's going to be a terrible event when the sun doesn't rise. The percent that the sun's not going to rise, it's so low that it's not even considerable. Why are you going to go throughout your day saying, like, I'm scared of this event happening, if the chances are 0.000000001? That's going to outlive you times 10. That's going to outlive you times 100 of that event occurring. So why is it in the back of your mind that I'm going to have to make a decision about this that's going to greatly affect my life? I don't think one single decision that you're going to make positively that's going to influence you to be better and influence others to be a better person. There's no one decision. You don't wake up and say, like, man, that's all I needed. I had an epiphany and now I got this. I know exactly what to do. That's not 100% accurate at the end of the day, because people share opinions and perspectives. Your opinion on something going great could be the exact opposite. And likewise, your opinion on something could be terrible, could be the exact opposite. So it's best to stay neutral when investing. But what are you doing it for? At the end of the day, why do you do this? If you're doing it for yourself, okay, then you're doing it for yourself and you're going to do that. If you're doing it for other people, then go all in on that one thing. Make people better. Don't just give them the keys to success so they can become successful individuals, because that's a matter of opinion. Your version of success, I guarantee you, it doesn't align 100% across the board with multiple factors and variables of someone else's decision. There might be one minuscule perception that's indifferent or different than somebody else, and you don't know, because there's no way to know unless somebody wrote an entire book on one subject, and then you go through and you read 10,000 words. Now you got an idea. But if someone says a sentence or, you know, a few paragraphs on something and you just agree or disagree with that subject, that's not entirely right. There's an agenda underneath that. And what is that agenda? Who's going to be at a disadvantage? Look at those people and then go to their side and say, what do you think is the best way to do things? Now let's find a 50-50 way to compromise and impose the best plan of action moving forward, so we don't run into the box of doing the same thing over and over. When you get into the mind frame mentally of doing the same thing over and over, it's a dangerous place to be, because now you're confident that what you were doing was the right thing, when in reality it was completely the opposite. Possibly, if you look in terms of the people who are in disagreement, you're not going to